Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As I promised, I prepared a small video regarding anti-gravity. Anti-gravity, what is it? Is it new cursor killer or probably it's another hype technology? Together we're gonna build some project, and during this process I'm gonna show you some best practices, functionality, and probably share some observations and my experience. So I hope you will enjoy. First of all, let's take a look at the model. So Antigravity uses Gemini 3.1 Pro as its primary model, and to compare it to the other popular models, we're going to be using these Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index. In simple words, it's the index which combines 10 different evaluations across different categories and shows to us how the model behaves and solves different tasks. Right? Here we can see that Gemini 3.1 has a value of 57. In this index, GPT 5.4 has just the same value. GPT 5.3 Codex, which I'm also using, has 54, and Cloud Opus has 53, and Cloud Sonnet has 52. So what can we roughly say based on this? We can say that the Gemini has just same intelligence level as the GPT 5.4. But let's take a more closer look, and we already seen that it has an intelligence level of 57, and we see that its speed is 123 output tokens per second, and the price is $2 per 1 million tokens for input, and for the output it has like $12 per 1 million tokens. Another interesting metric I would like to share with you is the terminal bench hard agentic coding and terminal use. So basically it represents how well the agent behaves working with terminal and executing the commands on your machine. So basically for the model which working with our environment or for our agent, we would like this score to be the best, the highest, right? So here we could also see that GPT 5.4 actually beats Gemini 3.1 Pro. Like here we can see that it's 4% difference, and Gemini is just a bit better than Sonnet and Opus. And the last metric I'm gonna be showing you today is the Humanity Last Exam benchmark, which basically a test for the model consists of 2,000 to 3,000 different questions, which basically aims to test the upper limits of artificial intelligence. So here we can see how Gemini 3.1 Pro compares to Gemini 3 Pro, like quite huge difference. How it does comparing to Sonnet and Opus and GPT 5.2. What does it show to us? Based on this, we can see that Gemini 3.1 Pro is actually the best model in thinking. Given the fact that Antigravity offers a generous limit on the tokens, I would say that it's worth to try, because I will show you it a bit later. I mean, the limits are really huge, so you can build, a solid web application or automatization or whatever. So I think it's definitely worth to try. Another noticeable advantage of Antigravity is the huge context window. It's 1 million tokens. What does that mean? Imagine you're building a huge system. You write a prompt, you're asking the agent to plan it, then you're asking one agent to build the front end, another agent to handle the back end. And for example, you have a third agent, which actually should provide you with tests. The agents are working, and then they start to ask you some follow-up questions. They run some scripts, they have some issues, they read logs. And you have to reiterate with the agent over and over. I mean, the agent tried to run some tests, it failed, it reads the logs output, then it fixes it. After it's fine, it goes back to the previous point in time when you agreed to build something, and again and again. And during these long conversations, the memory disappears. For me personally, it's a really known issue, and I faced it 1,000 times. And this 1 million token context window could help you to build and maintain a really huge project, painless. And now I'm gonna show you how you can start using Antigravity. At first, you probably want to go to the antigravity.google official website. Here you can hit download, and here are the options. You can choose whatever system you use. So for me it works best with the Apple macOS, but I won't be doing it right now. I already have it installed, so you can please proceed, follow the instructions, and you're all set. Once you opened your IDE, you can see the pretty standard project configuration. So you can see some source control buttons here. You can see run and debug options. So it's pretty basic and common for some VS Code like system. Actually, it's not a pure fork of the VS Code, but it looks really alike. Antigravity offers you two distinctive ways of communication with the agents. First, seems pretty common. Here you have a chat, you have a project, you can tell something to the agent like, hey, can you create a README for my project? We are going to build some live data tracking app for my Garmin watch, so I can adjust my nutrition. Okay, and here you also can see some options. We have, let's say, modes of the agent. One is good for planning, and the other works best for some fast and simple tasks. And here we also have options which basically allow us to choose between like high depth reasoning and low depth reasoning. You can also play around it if you would like to utilize the model more efficient. When you know that the task requires just some simple operations, but you have dozens of it, so you can simply choose, for example, low, or if you need some complex plan to be built, you probably would like to go with this option, and I will stick to it. Let's run and see what happens next. Here I expect to appear my README file. We provided not that self-descriptive prompt, to be fair, but what we can see here. Basically the behavior is just same in the cloud code or cursor. I mean, you prompt something, the agent modifies the scope of the project, it sees the scope of the project, it modifies the project itself, and you can see the result on your left. You can also modify something yourself here, like engine. Maybe you can add another requirement. So here you can see the result of the agent. And so far it looks like nothing new. Let's continue to develop same idea, but now we're going to use the agent manager. Here on the left, you can actually see that this workspace is already been fetched, right? So we can work with it. And what I will do now, I'm gonna map some new agent, and I'm gonna say to him that he needs to polish this raw README file, because it's really, yeah, it lacks the implementation details and it definitely needs to be adjusted. So you need to extend this README file. You can see in the project, add some specific backend and frontend implementation details. And we're going to be using planning mode, right? So hit. We see that another workspace created. So why don't we create another agent in the same workspace, right? I simply hit new conversation. You are a backend developer, so your task is to implement backend for that project. See the docs, right? Okay, we can see that yeah, we can see the report. The agent says it finished. And actually, currently we see the real advantage of this agent manager, which provided by default by the Antigravity. Here we can scale like any number of agents, and we can make them work in parallel on the same workspace, or even we can add here another project. I mean, you can scale it any way you want. Here we can see the output of our backend agent, right? So it already created some backend implementation plan. Here we can see it. Yep, I would like just to probably check. Okay, seems correct. And I'm gonna proceed with this. And in parallel, I'm gonna create another agent in the same workspace for a frontend developer. Please develop frontend for the app, right? Okay, now we can see it working. Let's check what the backend agent produced. All right. I see that he already created the plan. So why don't we start building backend in parallel, right? While we building backend according to the plan, the other agent building the plan for the front end. Actually, that is why I like it so much, because you're in the middle, so you're the decision maker and you actually orchestrating this agent around the workspaces, around the context. So this is amazing. Yeah, we're gonna proceed with some features. Now the backend agent asking me to review and confirm some actions. Actually, you can choose the mode where the agent can do whatever he wants without your permissions, but I actually want to have more control. You can actually configure this behavior here in the settings. So here is the option, terminal command auto execution. So you can choose always proceed, because when you build some project from scratch, you actually can trust the agent in some way. So to speed you up, you can choose this always proceed option, and the agent would run whatever it wants, I mean in scope of the project. But I actually more comfortable working with this feature enabled. So yeah, here we have lots of things happening. some files are already implemented, and the agent keep asking me for permissions to do some another changes. Now I see it works with some server. So yeah, actually I did not specify the language, and the agent proceed with the JavaScript. So it writes backend in Node.js. Sometimes it happens on your free plan, some connectivity issues, so sorry for it, but let's take a look what's happening with the front end right now. As far as I see, the agent already implemented the plan, so let's proceed building it, right? Terminated due to error. Don't worry, it happens because I have free plan, as I mentioned, and sometimes you just hit some limits, and in such cases you should just retry. Now the front-end agent asks me for permission. Okay, I agree, and yeah, let's see. So what's happening now? Now I have two separate agents working in parallel. One is responsible for front-end and the other responsible for back-end. Yep. You should manage it here in parallel, both agents. So probably for some cases it works to toggle this auto accept option. Okay. Okay, building it, run again. And yeah, I see that the backend agent reported I have successfully implemented the backend infrastructure for Garmin nutrition tracker and backend built with Node.js and Express. Okay, we can actually check that. We can check the code itself. Let's dive into it. Yeah, now I can see source directory. I have here Docker Compose file, environment file, config root services. So yeah, at the first glance, it looks like a ready backend. And let's check how it goes with the front-end agent. It's still building something. Yeah, it decided to use Tailwind. Okay, I'm pretty good with it. Here we can monitor the status. So it's his plan list. So it's to do. So it's the agent's to do. Sorry, but sometimes I have to retry it due to some rate limiting issues. So here we can see its plan and we can validate how it handles. Our backend seems to be ready, and maybe it worth to try. It also provides some run instructions which are useful. So it suggests me to run it in Docker. I will start it later probably. Let's check the front-end agent now working on the setting up the project structure and dependencies. Alright, it seems that our front-end developer ready, as well as our backend developer. Here we can check our artifacts, we can see our project, we can see what he did, and also the agent provides us with the instructions. So yeah, it seems our front-end developer is ready. He implemented all he planned to. Here we can see the changes, we can review them one by one. That's good, that's okay. And verify. Okay, let's actually try to run it. Once the backend done, I asked the agent to verify the connection with the front end. It started its work, so it checks the directories. And yeah, I just want to be sure before the starting backend and front end that everything works as intended. Now the agent offered me to start the development server of the Next.js. So I believe our front end is already reachable. So just let me execute some command. Now I'm gonna start the backend, and to do so I'm gonna write some command, which is docker compose up. Okay, now we have it pulling the images. I didn't check actually, should work. Didn't check which images it picked. So I see it fetches PostgreSQL and Redis, probably for cache. All right. Okay. Okay, it seems like our backend is running, and let's check our front end. So this is the front end created by the agent. Okay, I like the design. And to be fair, Gemini is pretty good at design. From my point of view, it's a bit better than Cursor. Actually, I like how it looks. So yeah, we have our prototype in like 10 minutes. I think that's a good start. Let's check the... Okay, it has I see it has some issues with the backend, so probably it needs some polishing. Let me just prompt it. All right, I see it's happening. First, it starts analyzing stuff we've done here. Right now, I see it has some debug issues and connectivity issues as well. Right, we allow everything. So I think yeah, the agent provides comprehensive testing of our application. And here we can also see the plan the model created for itself. So you can check it here. So our test agent is still running. We will wait a bit. So here it is. The agent successfully implemented and verified the end-to-end test. During the testing, the agent provided me with some screenshot and with some recordings actually. So it behaved as a real manual tester. It also provided some automated tests for me I can run and verify everything works. So, and it all done in parallel in a single workspace here using Antigravity. I also like that feature when the agent offers you a walkthrough. It offers me to make a review as I do regularly, I mean working with the humans. I'm gonna say that, okay, I want a heart rate card to be the first in the deck. Let's see. Eventually, the agent applied the changes I asked. Here I can see on the screen that, okay, I have her crate in the beginning. Now I can see comparison to the previous polished version. And the agent also offers me to navigate to the link to check it on the UI. So it seems that it was successful. So bottom line, the Antigravity is an amazing tool. I could say for sure that it could be really useful for some certain tasks. I would like to thank you for spending that time with me. Also, I would like to ask you to write some comments about technologies or maybe some AI trends which you're willing to see video about. See you soon. Bye bye.